Washington Center for who we serve. And so we're hoping that we can share that information with you guys, and then maybe you can help us get the word out. And I have with me Linda Thigpen, who is my right hand in all kinds of ways, and she's our instructional coach. And so I'm going to give you, we have school groups and student teachers and Leadership Greenville and all those kinds of groups that come through our building all the time. And so we have kind of a little set thing. It's our Washington Center 101. And so I'm going to give you the Washington Center 101. So those of you that already know some of the things I'm going to tell you, I apologize right off, but I think there will be some perhaps that do not know. Washington Center is a public school. And right there are people that have thought it was a private school or it was whatever, a hospital, I don't know. But we are a public school. We're part of Greenville County Schools. We serve students ages 3 to 21. And we have students who have all kinds of medical diagnoses and disability classifications. But the one unifying thing, and the thing that we are trying so hard to get across to people, and what we're programming for, is for students with severe to profound intellectual disabilities. So you can have autism, but if intellectually you're functioning higher than that, then you can be served in a regular school. And if intellectually you're within normal limits, you can be in a regular class with support. Or you can be blind. And if you're intellectually in a moderate or a mild range or in the normal range, then you can be served other places. And at Washington Center, we specifically program for students who are in the severe to profound range. Now what that means is that probably over half of our students are medically fragile. And we have all kinds of medical things going on all the time. We have one child who comes to school with a respirator. We have about 4 or 5 children with trachs. We have many students with seizure disorders. We have seizures going on frequently. And we have a staff of 8 nurses, and then of course therapists and so forth. So our kids, and thereby our families, have multiple challenges. And we look at our responsibility in many ways. First of all, we have students who are very constrained by their bodies. And none of our children are functionally verbal, so keep that in mind. And so we have a responsibility to take very good care of them. Their parents entrust them to us every day. And we're going to do everything we can to keep them safe. But we also acknowledge that we may not really know everything that's going on in their heads, and we may not really know how thoroughly they can integrate information. And as a result, we are always vigilant about being totally respectful of our students, of providing instruction that's aligned with standards, that's adaptive, but that's aligned with standards, and that's age appropriate. So we talk with them about lots of things that are things that would be topics that would be of interest to other students their age. Now, our youngest students when Washington Center was built, it wasn't built large enough. And so pretty soon they had to do something, and there's no room to expand the campus. So what they did was took Hollis Academy, which had an empty wing, or didn't have a floor anyway, and they renovated. So we have our 3 to 8-year-olds over there. And basically we have our 8 to 21-year-olds with us. And we look at several things. In addition to aligning our instruction with state standards and making it as age appropriate as we can, and certainly in terms of interest, the activities, we also are very committed to getting our kids out into the community. And there's several reasons for that. One is that many of our families just can't do it. That's all there is to it. Either they don't have a vehicle that is okay for taking a wheelchair, and over half of our kids are in wheelchairs, or they just simply are not able to manage the physical requirements of taking large kids out into the community. Or if you have a 20-year-old son who is 6'3" and weighs 220 pounds, and we have that, and you start down the road to go to the mall, and you've got him all cleaned up, and he looks nice, and you're going to push him around and go Christmas shopping, and he has an accident in his pants, what are you going to do? There's no place to take care of him. So, of course, you turn around and go home. And then the next time you say, maybe I won't do that. So we feel like that we can handle taking the kids out in the community. We take nurses with us. We take them everywhere. We take, of course, they go to Special Olympics. They go to Challenge Day. We have that coming up at Bob Jones, and Linda's going to show you some things about that. Our 13 and ups get community-based instruction money, so they can travel. They go everywhere. We got a lot of bowlers. They go bowling a lot. They go to the store and buy things, and our teenage boys have Seagull Grill on Fridays, and they make lunch and sell it to the staff. And so they go out to Walmart and wherever, and they buy the stuff they need, and they fix that. We have, right now, kids scheduled to horseback riding. We have ones in swimming classes. Anything we can do, we try to get them out in the community, because we feel like that's a service to families. Not just that, it's a service to the community too. You know, when we talk about the students we serve at Washington Center, people like to say special needs or special ed, but we say we're special ed, because we're really about 0.003% of the population. So that's not the same kid that can't read very well, or even that has some minor functioning problems. Our kids have serious issues. Every one, down to the last one. And we know that it is possible to go your entire life and never even meet anybody that has a low incidence disability. And many of us went a lot of our lives and did that. But we think that it adds value to the community, to have our kids be a part of it and have them out in the community so people aren't afraid, so that they can participate, the students can participate more freely, and the community can be more accepting. And we think it's a gift to the community as well. And we know that not everybody can do it. We have a terrible time getting substitutes, so if y'all know anybody that likes subbing. But Linda does an orientation for people that are interested in subbing. And we do that in addition to all the stuff the district does, because we know not everybody is up to dealing with what they must to be helpful at Washington Center. So sometimes she'll do an orientation, she takes them around, and everybody's smiling, and they just cruise right on out the front door. And we say that's good, and that's okay, and we don't sit in judgment, because we know there are many people, and there may be some of you who say, I'm not going to do that. That's not, that's just not my calling, or whatever. So we work very hard to have people who really are committed. We have, and I can say it because I worked at Washington Center about almost 30 years ago, and then have been back 3. It is the most amazing staff I've ever seen, and I have worked with amazing people all my professional life. But the fact that we certainly don't pay our paraprofessionals much of anything, and yet they are to a person absolutely committed to those kids. There is absolutely nothing they would not do to enrich their lives. The teachers certainly feel that way, all of us, because we know, we look at our kids and we know for some of them, these years at Washington Center are the best years of their lives. There are very few opportunities after they turn 21 and leave. There's some. They're not enough. And so we know that. We also know that the majority of our kids do not have a normal life expectancy. Not close. It's better than it once was. And Randy knows, he's got, what, a guy up there at 64, can't speak of it, but it's still not what you would expect. So our commitment is, for whatever time they have with us, we're going to make it the best we can make it. And that's where we are, every single day. And Linda is going to show you some things about some of the activities and some of the more specific things we do, and then we'll be glad to answer questions. And thank you for having us.
Okay. While we're pulling up the PowerPoint, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So when you see the students, you will see just what we do. And as you're looking, look at their faces. They love to be at school. This is their joy. PD is not what they need. They need you to feel their joy. So it's a fun place. It's a happy place. I came here, I blew in with Hugo in 1989. So it's been in my heart. I was a classroom teacher and then up to administration, and they can't make me leave. So I love Washington Center. So as Dr. Rogers says, this is part of the school district. It's for students who have intellectual disabilities, and it is a separate facility. We are not in school with regular ed classes. It's all special ed. And there's our motto, those you think cannot, can. You look at a child like you're going to see, think at this student, this person, really, can they understand what's going on? We never know. So as Dr. Rogers said, we treat them with dignity, as though they're taking in everything that we can. They just might not can reply as we do. But they are individuals and they're very unique. Okay, this is our school. It's been around a little over 10 years. So today I was taking a prospective student teacher around, and she said, "Is this a brand new school?" I said, "No, it's over 10 years, but we keep it very pristine. The dignity of our students, and we just take pride in them and the settings. So it's just a beautiful campus. We're very proud of it." So here's some of the classroom things that we have going on. We have instruction using a Promethean board. This teacher is combining with another class. Students are in a wheelchair, but we have individual ways for them to communicate, to activate the PowerPoints and presentations on the Promethean board. We have a curriculum called Unique Curriculum, which is unique. It's through special ed services in which lessons are presented on their level. For instance, this week it's about the Queen's reign, and there's pictures and videos about the longevity of her reign. And this class in particular, they're having a tea party on Friday to celebrate. So we do fun things, and our classes are models for the State Department. They came in and videoed for several years a class doing a lesson as a model lesson that they show other special ed classes. And this is our preschool over at Hollis, as Penny mentioned. Just a joyous place in itself. Cute little guys, and all the facilities mirror the things that we have at the big school, we call it. So it's a happy bunch with therapists and teachers. So I think they have their Polar Express day then. We have physical therapy. We have many therapies. Physical therapy is one. Lots of equipment. This is one of the physical therapists working with the child. Our hallways are very wide because there's strikes, there's mobility going on. The students are up and mobile, which is very important, not only for cognition, but to get their bodily functions moving as well. So we believe in keeping them active, and they are. There's also speech therapy. Speech therapists are working with the students, and we have individual devices. This student's learning some leisure skills.
Uno, I see an Uno card. He's playing Uno, right?
Yes, he's playing Uno. Yeah, so that's important too, that they learn appropriate ways to play games so they can interact with their peers. There's occupational therapy. They may learn to trace their name. You may not can see it, but this is the child's name, and she is tracing the letters to learn her name. The occupational therapy deals with their fine motor skills. And so sorting and things like that go with it as well. We also have about 12, 15, 16, good. Students on homebound. These are students who are too medically fragile to attend school. And so the teachers go to their homes and instruct. So these are two of our lovely fellows who get instruction at home. There are more specialized programs. This is daily living, comparison to what you had for home ec in high school, but all of our classes go. This is a special project in which they do backpacks, breakfast backpacks for the needy children. So they had a template where they matched items, the cans and the fruit juices and things like that, and how many. There's pictures that they placed them on, so they packed them in a bag, ready to go, so they were helping the community. There's also a science class, and we call it adaptive environmental science. Here a bird was found, so great lessons in how to feed the bird. There's also a greenhouse where they have a project going on. Seedlings come in and attend them and then sell them to the public. So everyone goes there once a week, just like these others. We have art. This teacher is wonderful. She was a classroom aide and then got her degree to be a teacher. This child's doing Hearts for Kids, another community project, and she's really great. Special activities, they're using an old-timey record player to spin, to dip a feather into paint. So different type media. She makes the art fit the child instead of forcing the child to be able to do an art project or hold a paintbrush. She lets her tools meet what the child needs. And there's also music. Very specialized. She has a predictable part of her lesson. First they move, they listen, they play instruments, they guess an instrument in the bag. So she's encouraging this little fella to be vocal, to sing, to make any noises that he can. So we hear a lot of strange noises at Washington Center, but we all counted as singing and happy noises. There's adaptive physical education. I see a bowling ramp here to knock down the pins. And this was May Day, in which instead of walking around, twisting the ribbons around the pole, she created a can with ribbons on it, and as the wheelchairs were pushed around, it wrapped the ribbons. So again, we make the services fit the child. In the media center, there's Promethean boards. Classes come in, they can't do research as in regular ed, but the media specialist is very creative in creating lessons through the Promethean board. She does a unique curriculum too, and supports the themes that they're working on in the classrooms. Okay. Nursing service is huge. Again, Dr. Rogers mentioned that for our classes. These tube feeding a child. The nurses just love the children. They just come in and interact with them too. So the nursing services are very important to us. We've got a great staff, very level-headed, handles emergencies. In fact, we all have to be cool and calm because you never know what a day at our school will be. Even food services are unique. She's got a tray of hamburgers. She has to blend these up to a consistency that the child can consume. We've got all the way from chopped, puree, to liquefied, but she takes the normal food and creates it for whatever diet the child has. So even food services is specialized for us. We are big on the communication because they do not have communication skills for whatever their disabilities are. There are very few that can even vocalize a word. So nothing really of communication could go on, but we give them a means to communicate. We've got lots of communicative devices. They press it and they can make a choice. They can answer questions. When we're doing a big lesson on the Promethean board, like for the Queen's Reign, the questions can be on an iPad, and they choose the answer from the iPad. There's a program that connects, that talks to the big board, and then they've got the small board, and they touch their answer. So there's just, it's amazing, just really amazing all the ways that they can communicate. And this is an example of that. This child is choosing the weather. So instead of him having to get up and touch the board, which is a little difficult because there's a stylus that you have to hold and be precise, he can touch the right picture on the iPad and it shows up on the big board.
And that's a Doceri app.
Mm-hmm. There's an app, that's right, that's right. And then this is an example of an age-appropriate lesson through Unique. It was about Taylor Swift. She has some middle schoolers here, so there's our question there, and they have their iPad to answer. So that's the little news to you part of the curriculum. Very age appropriate and very relevant. There are lots of functional skills we like to teach our students, not only academics, but what can they do to be more independent. This was one class invited a fellow who did auctions. So he brought little prizes with him, and the students had some tokens. They're going really over, they really wanted this item. So they're holding up their cards when they wanted to buy it. So they kind of learned the bartering and saving their points for whatever they really wanted. And then lots of cooking activities like that make it fun but yet functional for them too. We've got a multisensory room in both campuses. It's like a black light room with fluorescence going on, very calming and soothing, especially for those with autism. For those who have low sensory tolerance, it also helps them to calm and to zero in and be observant, as this little cutie's doing. So there's black walls in there, really nice. As we mentioned, this is where they go out in the community with the horseback riding. The group went to the fire department with Fox News. We were famous on the news. So we go out and about. They've even delivered Meals on Wheels and done things with the rescue mission and things like that. Have sort clothes and done clothes drives. So we think it's important to help with our community. This is our Bob Jones Day and Special Olympics. They love to go to that. We've got our Challenge Day coming up, thanks to Mr. Bandy. They have a big parade and then opening ceremonies, and the one at Furman in the spring is grand too. They participate in that. We have holidays. We invite regular ed students over to help us. We have a Boo in the School that's coming up. Here we had a Valentine pageant and dance. Students from, was it
Shannon Forest.
Shannon Forest, that's right, came this year and helped escort our students. And then we have Santa come in and invite some regular ed students to help us with that. We have our big fundraiser, which is our walk and roll PTA sponsors that held in the spring. And then we did a fundraiser for some charities and raised a good bit. We walked the gym and raised some money, so we think giving back to others is very important. We have craft day in the spring. We have our Christchurch school students coming over to help us. And there's graduation. We had 3 last year. They graduated age 21 from our school. And we have reading buddies coming over from Christchurch, which helps us. And Sarah Collins comes too. Dog therapy comes once a month. So the children love the dogs coming over. And they learn, don't just love the hair. So they've learned to how to treat animals and how to pet them gently. So we see lots of little miracles happen with our dog therapy. We have the parent workshops. There you are with our parents. And then family night. We have several of your services came that evening to share with parents and tell them your services too. So parent support is big for us. We have guests from the little theater. We had a program with the police department. They came and learned about the kids and they learned about us. And we've had some musicians come and entertain us as well. So community helps us a lot. We don't have a lot of means to raise funds. Knights of Columbus is a wonderful help for us. There's a sorority group called the Claver Club. So that bunch of girls from Hughes and Hollis Middle.
Hughes and Beck.
Thank you, Hughes and Beck. They come and help us a lot with a lot of things. So we're grateful for our many helpers. Any questions for us?
Let me just add, and then if you have questions, we'll be glad to answer. But I hope you can see from this that Washington Center is a very happy place. And that is absolutely something that's non-negotiable. And we had a superintendent several years ago. He's gone, so I can tell you all this. He went to Washington Center, and I saw him in the district office after that. He said, "Oh, I was over at Washington Center." I just cried when I got to my car, and I said, "Well, then don't come back." Because it is a happy place, and we don't need that. That's unhappy. These folks are dealing with all they can deal with without dealing with somebody else's emotional distress. So we just don't accept that at all. We do try to have as many things as we can that are aligned with what typical kids would have, like our Valentine dinners and things like that. And the kids have a great time, and we laugh a lot. We think things are funny that other people probably wouldn't, and we enjoy the kids and we enjoy the families, and so we think it's a great place to be. Now, with all of that, you can see we're pretty enthusiastic. Do not start sending us your kids. That is the big problem we have, is people will look at them and they'll say, well, this kid has some intellectual problems and he's very sick. Probably Washington sick. No, did y'all hear me say? If the child is not severely to profoundly intellectually disabled, we're not programming for higher functioning kids. But that's a hard message to get out.
And not because they're pitiful.
Yeah, we don't take pitiful. So we really are very focused on the positive aspects, and we feel like our students contribute to the community, contribute to the world. They certainly contribute to us, that's for sure. So come and visit. We love to have people come for tours. They come all the time, and we enjoy that. We have students all the time, and sometimes their mouths kind of drop open, but nobody ever cries. Not if I'm there. So we had a group from Wayne Hampton last week, and we try to recruit special ed teachers all the time. So we would love to have you come visit. Any questions? I told you everything.
Thank y'all so much.
Well,